Yeah, it just sounds like I'm in an underground tube. I've got a Roland GoMixer Studio here. I am reviewing it for Engadget, and I'm just going to do a little bit of setup. So just thought I'd record while I'm doing it. There's nothing scripted here. Let's just take a look at what we get. So in the box, I've already done the unboxing, so a little bit of a spoiler there. We have the mixer, which is not bad looking for these mobile mixers. I've done a couple of reviews for the Roland GoMixer series, whatever the first one was called, the Roland GoMixer, the Roland GoMixer Pro X, which I have over here. So I'll be doing something with that later on, for sure, for comparisons. And then this, which is the GoMixer Studio. Now, in terms of what is different, the most obvious thing to me is that this one has a display. Beforehand, it didn't have a display. And just the general design, this one does feel more luxurious. The other ones have been a bit plasticky. Just checking the box. There's very little in the way of accessories. But the only thing you kind of get in the box is this bag here, which has one solitary USB cable. Not even a 3.5mm to 3.5mm cable like this. So I do have one, but there's not one in the box. And I feel like that's always a bit of a shame when you have a mobile mixer that they don't include the 3.5mm cable. At least doesn't look like they do. I don't want to accuse them of something when I haven't backed it up. So here's a USB-C cable. It's a very nice one. Thanks, Roland, for the absolute bare minimum. I would have liked to see a 3.5mm cable in there as well, but there isn't, alas. And I'm going to plug this right into let's plug it into the back of here first. So what do we have? USB for mobile PC and USB-C for power. So this obviously tells me it will be bus powered. And then obviously if you want to charge your phone or not drain your phone so much, you can also plug in a USB power pack, which is pretty cool. Two XLR microphone inputs, which is going to be kind of the core functionality of this thing. A pair of stereo outs, and then above that MIDI in and out over 3.5mm. Here you have guitar and bass input, 1/4-inch jack, and then headphones as well. You've got, I presume this is also headphones. So you've got 3.5 and 1/4-inch. As before, we've got this display here. I will plug it in a minute, I promise. With these pots here, so headphone volume line out, and then your 1, 2, 3, I guess these are your inputs. Presuming this is going to be a menu button, and this is going to be for navigation. And then on this last side, auxiliary input output, your lines in, line ins. So plenty of inputs and outputs, and this is designed specifically for people that do performances, play music. Sort of someone that has an acoustic guitar and wants to play it in the street or in a bar and have maybe either a backing track or a powered microphone, that kind of thing. And to be able to mix it and then do social media videos or regular YouTube videos or just to record the performance, whatever it is. So I plugged the USB-C cable in, and as we can see, it's booted up, GoMixer logo. And then what do we have? Mic, line 1 and 2 and 3. So as we can see, this corresponds to 1, 2, and 3 on the front here. These are all clickable. And when you go, you can see your input levels. You've got mute, stereo, and then gain. Then we'll figure, okay, so that toggles. And then I presume this one, that's interesting. It's kind of useful. And then that's gain. Okay, so that's nice and intuitive. You got these 3 dots here, which tells me, I'm guessing that this button here, it will page through. So there we have the EQ. We'll give that a little test later on. Compressor, we've got you can adjust the amount there. There's actually nothing plugged into this at the moment, obviously. Reverb off, and then I guess, so you can actually choose the amount of reverb. And what's on the last page? Monitor and headphones, okay, so you can send that to and then monitor on the line out. Okay, I kind of like that. That's pretty intuitive. I was just wondering, how do I get out of here? And you can see on the top there, the little hamburger menu should exit, and that'll bring us back. And I presume same for this, so we click in, and then you can do the same for all 3 of these inputs here. But also I can see you've got these dots here which means we're going to have more inputs. So line in, auxiliary in, headset, microphone. And again, I'm guessing, yep, that these three, this is why they have numbers rather than labels on them to say what they are, because it looks like they're kind of dynamic. So whatever you have on screen is going to be what it's controlling. And then just complete the menus. So, okay, you've got your main inputs here, USB 1 and 2 main, USB 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And then we have here headphones, line out, and USB mix. So most things are pretty accessible straight here. So on the menu and the display using just these couple of buttons. All right, so I guess what we should probably do is plug something into this. So at the moment, you're probably only going to hear the audio off of this microphone because I'm recording in two ways. And I've unplugged this microphone from my PC and I'm going to plug it now back in, well, not back into the GoMixer Studio. All right, how about that? You should now be hearing this microphone going straight into the Roland GoMixer Studio. No idea what the gain levels are like. So I'm actually going to plug in, my main headphones are connected into my Rodecaster Pro, and the way I've got things set up on my desk, it's a little bit complicated to get to them. So this 3.5mm cable is already coming in handy. It works. The gain's a little bit low, so okay, gain. Let's okay. Right, now I can hear this, at least in terms of in the headphones, this sounds like a reasonable level. And let's try this compressor. There we go. Okay, let's bring this threshold down. So now we should be getting compression on my, I can certainly hear that it's different in my headphones. I dread to think what this is actually sounding like on the recording. So let me go back out. I'm going to disable that, bring that right down. Okay, certainly again sounding a little bit more natural in my headphones. So apologize if the audio went a little bit squiffy there. This is going to be fun. Let's put some reverb on my voice. So at the moment, oh dear. Yeah, it just sounds like I'm in an underground tube. This is probably a lot more effective if you're using an instrument on my voice. I'm not sure. So there's even just a mild bit of reverb there. Let's leave that on for a little bit and see if there's no actual, and there's no further settings or a menu on that one, so I can't go in there. Let's drop this reverb off. Let's go back into EQ. EQ on the low end. There it is. There is the bassy voice. And then obviously if I take that out, it should get like this harsh, bassless version of my voice. Let's bring that back to normal. And then we can see on the mid end, oh, yeah, that's a little, at least in my headphones, it doesn't sound so great. And then I can drop the middle. Oh, that's even more painful. But again, might be useful, or more likely to be useful for an instrument. And then obviously you can change the frequency. It's probably a smart thing to do. And I'm sorry for what's about to happen. If I increase the high, oh, that sounds a little bit cassette tape. And then we can bring it down. That's not too bad. That's a little more radio voice when I drop it out. But let's leave that. Let's neutralize that and reset that back to normal. This reverb, I do wish you could change it a little bit. So from the type of room that you're in, even if it's just one or two, have some more settings than that. It's just a real shame. Come on, click. Let me have some more reverb options. But hey, there's a reverb which it could certainly be useful if even if it is a little bit limited. So, but I realize that when you press this button, this is when you get look, reverb settings. So yes, so you got the level selection. I don't know what that would be. We can come back to that. Oh, actually, and then pre-delay. Oh, Roland, I take everything back. Roland, I'm sorry. Let me go back out. Let's try this on. So. And the long press is mute, so we're discovering things in real time here. This is fun. Okay, so let's go in reverb on. Let's put it half, 50%. And we go back out, and then what did we do to get the menu again? Okay. And then selection, H37, H32. Let's go right to, so this is, there are different types of reverb. This one's awful, but there are different types of reverb. R0, well, R1. I don't know if we're going to go through R7, R32. The namings could be a little bit friendlier. So I'm guessing that's R for room is going to be my guess. H for hall. And I guess that the numbers relates to the size. I'm guessing. And then what's over here? Oh, time. 3 seconds. So I'm hoping this will affect the reverb time. Okay? Well, let's turn this off because this is going to get a little bit annoying. Okay, so now we're back. So yeah, I do apologize, Roland. You did include some more reverb settings. Might have been nice to have them under the reverb option here, but I trust you that there was a good reason why we have not done it that way. So we go back into this main menu, reverb. We've just been playing with that. Scene memory. This is going to be really important for musicians that maybe you have a live setup and you want to configure it a certain way, and then you want to use this back in your studio. You can go into your scene memory and then you can record. I could write this one right now. Let's do that. Okay, and then you've got your memory slot. You choose where you put it, and then obviously whenever you're playing in different situations or you need to pull up a different memory setting, you can do it right here. USB, multi-channel. Okay, yeah, great. So you can do multi-channel. I'm presuming Windows. Okay, let's leave it on that. Source pre-fader, so you can hear everything before the fader or after the fader, which is a pretty standard thing in your DAW. So that's good. And you can change the sample rate here. Wow, all the way up to 192 kilohertz or 44.1. Let's leave it on 48 for now. MIDI. Okay, TRS MIDI through is just on or off. And then factory reset. We're not going to do that in firmware version. Let's just have a look at version 1.02. I'll check that in a minute, see if that is new. So that, as far as I can tell, is all of the main principal menu settings and a top level look at how this thing works. So if you like new technology like this, you might want to check out my most recent upload where I talk about the next camera that's coming from GoPro. In the meantime, get out there and go create.